Take number like 5. Now the reason I'm doing this over and over again is because I want to make sure that I don't throw Hitch under the bus in making this video, but unfortunately the talking points that I want to use are the points that he was making in the video that he made yesterday. Now, I am not mad at Hitch for making the video. I am not mad at what he said in the video. He's well within his rights to, voice some of his discontent to his audience, sure, to our audience, to the green wall, absolutely. But some of the stuff should have been kept behind closed doors, and I'll go into detail on that in a little bit. But I want to structure this video, talking about Hitch, talking about Optic and where it is, the growing pain, and the whole 9. So I'm going to try to be as concise as possible and as short as possible, so you guys can be up on your merry way, as you say. Hitch's role is changing. That's a fact. Okay, vision is still his. That's vision is still his. 2 days. I have a text from 2 days ago, the day that he made that video. I have a text that says, "Yo, vision is still yours. We just want you to make it, essentially, upload it on time." It's a running joke how late it is all the time. But even then, I have always protected him from the fans, and I always told him, "Hey, it's cool. You upload it when you upload it. Let's try to be on time, though." And I've given him a hard time when it's not on time. But I've been very supportive at the fact that he needs to, for some reason, record and edit all the interviews on the very last day or the night before, so he can stay up all night and do that. And look, I understand creative processes more than anyone, okay? As a creative myself, I understand it. I understand that if you take one little bit of the process and shift it, the project itself changes. So, and that's not what I want to do. Hitch is amazing at telling the story in vision. Hitch is amazing at composing the song and driving the conversation and driving the storyline along. So I'll give him props for that absolutely any day of the week. Okay, it's not that. This isn't about that. This is about us providing him with what he was requesting to do that. And look, on the 7-day programming thing, and that's something that he said, look, 7 days, ready? Vision, Optic Plays, podcast, smooth competition, trivia, and then 2 more, big timer show, and then something else. It's not that it's hard to do. It's not that it's easy to do. What's hard is to ideate how we're going to do it and then knocking it down. Okay, so I understood that a lot of pressure was put on him. I understand that, but I felt as though, and I know him, I felt as though he can take it. I felt as though he can rise to the challenge and knock it down. And that's my fault. That's my fault. I still think that he can do it. But I want him to free his mind to, and this is what's happening right now. Okay, so he's being pulled away from Optic Nation for him to concentrate more on his personal brand, so he can stream, so he can create his vlog, and that he can work on those one-off, vision, and then those one-off documentaries like what was it, Worlds, or year reviews, like one-off documentaries that would be free of time and deadlines. Okay, free of deliverables, free of all of that. Now, speaking of deliverables and sponsorships, because he did say that some of the content that we were creating has to be approved by somebody else. You don't think that we all didn't agree to that? We all agree to this. Okay, we need sponsorships in order to be able to make not just Optic. Okay, I don't know if this is gonna break anyone's hearts, or if this is gonna blow anyone's mind, but sponsorships is the single sole most important bloodline in esports as a whole. Not just Optic, as esports as a whole. I'll give you an example in sponsorships. When we decided to leave Astro for Turtle Beach, it was because Turtle Beach was going to allow us and help us to expand into Counter-Strike. No Turtle Beach, no Counter-Strike. As simple as that, okay? It would have been really easy for me to get out there and tell you guys that was the reason. The reason that we're leaving Astra and the reason that we're going with Turtle Beach is because Turtle Beach is offering, not only good quality equipment, but at the same time allowing us to expand into a broader space and audience. We need sponsorships. Sponsorships, I know that I know the resistance that's always there, and I'm not talking about all of you. I'm talking about thank you to those who understand the business world and the real world, and thank you. Okay, but there's some people that they hate the term business when it comes to their favorite esports team. They hate the word business when it comes to their favorite YouTuber. They hate the word business when it comes to everything that is world, because it vilifies the project in a sense. But Brisk. Smooth competition. To me, it was one of the best series that we have ever created. It was a true pleasure trying to literally sitting there every single night trying to think what we can do next. Okay, it was awesome. It allowed for a creative a creative expansion, you know, from optic that has just made it better for all. So in some terms, sponsorships offer more than just money for expansion or money for salaries or money for you know, to continue to let the business thrive. You know, in this case, it allowed us to step out of our comfort zone and do something challenging. Okay, so I understand that he may not have had as much fun filming some of those things, which is why we're taking him off of that, and now he's going to be participating and being part. He's not going to be behind the camera. He's not going to be like worried about, you know, creating the content. You know, he can focus on his own and that. So that's why I was a little bit disappointed, because we literally gave him what he wanted, essentially, right? Some freedom to create what he wants, and then we gave him still vision, because that's his. And I always say that vision is his, even though, I mean, we'll discuss on whose idea it was at some point, okay? But you know, vision is his. He created. He tells us no one can do vision better than him. Period. In my opinion. Okay, and it's a humble one at times. So we wanted to allow him the freedom to continue to do vision, it's one project a week, and then concentrate on all of his personal projects, his Twitch, his tournaments, his vlog, and then on top of that, if one day he wants to be like, you know what, let's go do that one thing that I came up with. Okay, so a couple of years ago, I told him, we should do a documentary on every single member of Optic that's helped build it. So we'll go to Seth's, you know, high school and interview a couple of his friends, and then create the story. And we'll go to my birthplace. We'll go to El Paso, and then from El Paso we'll go to Juarez, and then Juarez we'll visit the place of how I grew up, where I grew up, the school that I went to, the whole 9 yards, right? Maybe now he can, you know, if he chooses to, because this is not a requirement, if he chooses to, he can go do that. Now I'm rambling. Okay, so I'll move on from that point. Okay, I understand Hitch's frustrations, but they're a little bit misplaced, because, you know, change isn't happening the way that he portrayed that it was happening. But I understand why he felt those emotions. I felt those emotions this morning when I was getting blamed for something that he wasn't even blaming me for. You know what I'm saying? In that talk, and then moving on to Optic. We're a different Optic, absolutely. Okay, from a structural and behind the scenes standpoint. Okay, from the front lines is still pretty much the same, in my opinion, except that we now have, you know, different entities. And listen to me, okay? Now on transparency, before I go on with that, it would be really easy for me if it was just you and me just sitting here in this room all alone, and me talking into this you and telling you everything that we're doing. Okay, but we cannot identify and tell you why we're doing certain things or why we're working on certain projects, because you guys aren't the only ones watching. Okay, look up the term first mover advantage, and then you'll understand what I'm saying. First mover advantage. Okay, if it was just us, I'd gladly tell you why we're working on the things that we're working on, and why 7-day programming fits into the bigger vision as to how other things that not only benefit Optic but esports as a whole will benefit from this thing. Okay, now if that you know, kind of was a little bit tough, 7-day program was tough, like imagine what's going to happen when I literally sit down and tell everybody at work that I want to be the first team, okay, the first team to create live programming the way that they do on TV every day from 9 to 5 o'clock, 9 to 10 is midnight, 10 to 11 is me, 11 to 12 is Hitch and TST, and like, imagine what's going to happen then. Okay, see, that sort of idea is the idea that somebody else is going to take and run with. Simple as that. And that is why sometimes transparency isn't all the best. Now, Hitch isn't the only one going through these struggles. I'm going through these struggles. You know, Optic was solely mine, and I made all the decisions along with, you know, yes, I consulted with everyone in the team, and we made a team decision on certain things. And you know, it worked. At one point, it was just me, the sole decision maker, the one that said no, the one that said, you know, yes, and that was that. Okay, we're not living in that realm anymore. You know, now there's people that have input. Some are good, some are bad, but as such, I have to allow them to make those sort of mistakes so they can take ownership in the thing that we're building. I have to give the people that are working for Optic now a chance to be proud in the work that they're doing for Optic. I want them to be proud to say, you know what, I helped this new thing that Optic is doing happen. Okay, but if I get in there and I start saying that's not gonna work, or I wouldn't do this because it failed before, if I go in there, I'm gonna deprive them of owning their failures, and as such, the experience, and as such, you know, learning from them. Okay, and it turns into like a deep thought that says, you know, I personally, Hector, I don't want, it's the difference between owning a job and owning a business. I want to own a business. I want to own a business and not a job. A job requires me to be there every single day and tending to every single thing that's happening. Okay, a business can thrive with or without Optic HECZ. A business of Optic. Optic cannot be dependent on one sole individual. Yes, some players have been the soul of Optic and have propelled Optic to a different level, but we can't have that. Optic has to outgrow everybody, okay? I need Optic to outgrow me. I need Optic to outlive everything. I want my great-grandchildren to say, you know what's crazy? My great-grandfather built that thing that we're watching. He built that team that you're cheering for. I want that. And this will never, if I'm the one that it depends on, I'm 38 years old. You know, I'm still super young. I look younger, but I can't allow Optic to be dependent on one single entity, person, or player or personality. I cannot. It is irresponsible for me. You know, it's doing a disservice to what we have built. You as the green wall, us as Optic. This thing needs to outlive us. And as such, we have to make certain business decisions to make it propel to the next level. And you guys may not see it within the first 3 times, and I'm not gonna allow you guys to make a mockery of trust the process or trust in me or do that. I'm not gonna allow it because I have delivered, okay? I have delivered, okay? Bumps on the road, absolutely. Drama, a little drama, sure. But what business and company and team doesn't go through those things, okay? I would have been more than happy, okay, then to continue to play the game that I was playing the way that I was playing it. I was building my team. I was expanding when I was able to. I was forcing my players and holding them accountable to be better, to upload more, to grow their brands bigger and better so we can have better offerings and better opportunities with sponsorships so we can get more sponsorships and expand and continue to pay. But at the same time as I was playing the game that I was playing, other people were getting investment. And what happens with investment is somebody, you know, it's somebody out there who has investment money that can easily come in, throw money at my players and pluck them, but one by one by one, and take it away. And that is how Optic would have died. And I couldn't stand alone and do that. Now, luckily, I was able to find the right partner that's going to help us propel to what we need to propel to. Okay, and I'm not going to go into that because I'm not selling any of that. But I'm telling you, I would have been more than fine to be playing the game that I was playing the way that it was being played. I would have loved it. Okay, that was the game. That was my game. That was what I was playing. My game was to outlive, outsmart, and everybody else the way they do it in Survivor. You guys don't know about that. That was my passion. That was I talk about it in private circles, off of here, because you guys don't need to hear me bitching about stuff that may necessarily. Anyway, moving on. Change is happening within Optic. Okay, and I'm not gonna sit here and tell you to trust me or I'm not even telling you to come along for the ride. Okay, I'm beyond that. I think I've done more than enough to have you guys come along and trust in the things that I've been doing. Okay, and more than anything, I want to make sure that you guys understand that everybody has the right to voice their opinions, but there are certain things that we should keep behind closed doors. Okay, and that's a conversation that I'll have separately with Hitch, and that's a conversation that I will have as a whole. Okay. We just can't have and be in a place where subtweeting is a thing within your own team, and that's ultimately the most disheartening thing about the whole thing. But again, I'm not mad at him. If anything, I'm more mad at the people who pointed the finger at me without doing that. Optic is gonna be good. Optic is gonna be better, and that's all I have to say. Hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you guys didn't, there is a dislike button right there that allows you to tell me how discontent you are with that. And there is a comment section down below to be more detailed about the things that you don't like that are going on right now. Okay? And to those brave of you who are willing to stand up, I understand. To the ones that are willing to type, we get it, I appreciate you. Because it's really easy to point a finger and say something negative. It's really easy to do that. And it's really, really hard to go against the grain and understand a higher vision and type it out and say, you know what, you're doing a good job. It's a lot easier to point that down than to point that up.